Pearl is the second movie and the prequel to the first one that came out in the series called X. Set in 1918, we followed the character Pearl as she dreamed of being a star and was prepared to do anything that she could to get off of the farm that her family owned and she was destined to spend the rest of her life on. Along with Infinity Pool, this is Mia Goth's most petrifying role that she's ever taken on, and it's a character in the movie that will quite literally make your spine tingle with fear, and also provide a unique twist on slasher movies. So let's get into it. Here is why Pearl is beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. I'm going to break this video down into a few different sections. The performance by Mia Goth. One of the key things that this movie touched upon was the misunderstood nature of the character Pearl. How she dreamed of being a star but was held back due to the path that her family had laid down for her and the fact that she was more so trapped due to her father being taken with ill health, meaning that she had to carry out a lot of jobs around the farm which her father would have most probably done, and she also needed to accompany her mother too. What this movie did at the start of it, and continued to have small glimpses of when spread amongst the evil, sinister moments, was that it showed the naivety and the hopes and dreams that many of us have embedded within us acted out in the character Pearl. Things that in the real world we all soon grow out of, but Pearl never did. Pearl dreamed of being up on screen, on stage, dancing and performing, and she wasn't prepared to let anything stop her, a mindset that is beautiful and admirable to see. She had the hopes and aspirations of an individual not being broken down no matter how hard somebody else was trying to prevent her. The want to give it a shot rather than living a life where one questions if the possibility of making it could have happened if only they ever gave it a try. So it's something that I feel we could all relate to at that moment. However, it's the extremity of her actions that took it to the next level and meant that she lost all relatability. The wide eyes, smiles, and happiness that was present when she dreamed of being a star was something that was so clear to see when watching, but then contrasted with the same smile and wide eyes being present when she was performing on stage and when she welcomed back her husband long after she'd killed her mother and father, provided a haunting twist to the face and expressions that we saw being used for a different reason earlier on in the movie. Mia Goth's performance was something that was able to turn on a dime in this movie, and we often saw moments that were happy and innocent, then filled with anger and rage, upset and devastation, and then a content nature that meant that she lived by the line that her mother said several times throughout the movie, which was how it's not about what she wanted, but it was about making the best out of what she had, showing that she was going to be trapped on the farm for the rest of her life. The 7-minute 57-second monologue. In the final act of the movie, there was a monologue that Mia Goth delivered which was drastically different to all of the scenes that we had with Pearl throughout most of the movie. This spanned almost 8 minutes in length and was one of the most intense moments in the entire runtime. Following her being rejected by the company that she auditioned for in her local church for being a touring performer, we saw her be the most present in reality for a small matter of time for the first time in the entire movie, but also the most absent too. She spoke about everything that was pent up within her from her life from before the movie started, and it all came to the forefront, such as her relationship with Howard and the abandonment that she felt and the lack of dreams that she'd be able to achieve in her life. She went on to speak about how she knew that Howard was too good for him when they first met, and she chose to be with him because she wanted to get off of the farm. She saw being with him as her ticket out of there. However, it had the opposite effect. Howard enjoyed being on the farm and wanted to stay, so the sense of entrapment was present even in what could be called her happiest times, showing that she acted the way that she did in the present day because she genuinely felt that she had no other option of being able to escape the life that she felt trapped in. However, the beautiful yet haunting part about it was that she now wasn't able to leave due to her actions. Without the farm, she had nothing. She gave it a try like she said she would, and she returned home because she had nothing else. She killed her entire family for nothing. It's bleak. The close-up that was present on Mia's face for the most part of the monologue and the almost 6-minute one-shot take of the monologue really allowed you to understand the broken mindset that Pearl had and the deluded state that she was in to feel as though she could murder her whole family. The sense of regret of killing her father and the fear that she said that she had within her due to being afraid of life was a side to the character that we hadn't seen before. The moments of silence, the tears rolling down her face, and the psychotic nature that she expressed was terrifying to bear witness to, and you sadly knew what was going to be heading Mitzi's way as she tried to leave. The style of movie and the way that it was shot. Despite this movie being a modern-day slasher film and providing a dark plot within its core, this movie took an interesting approach when deciding on how it was going to be filmed. The score that was behind most of the scenes, the house that the movie was set in, the town, and the cinema were all appropriate to the time period and the style of film that Pearl was witnessing in the picture house. For such a dark film, the palette that was chosen was extremely bright, vibrant, and they all popped when they were on screen. The greens, red, blue, and whites all provided a sense of hope and a space that was happy, when in reality it was the complete opposite, providing a conflict in our mind when watching. Watching a dark story developing and unfolding, consisting of the most hideous acts on screen in a world that looked like it was bright, vibrant, and full of colour, was a strange experience to have. It supported the story well, and the strange selection choices really allowed it to mess with our heads even more when watching. Overall review. I thought Pearl was a movie that stood in its own lane and provided a real experience when watching. From the elongated shots, the powerful monologue, the incredible heart-wrenching but sinister, malevolent performance from Mia Goth, and the lack of investment into any other characters allowed this film to deserve the title of being called Pearl. She dreamed of being a star, and she was definitely the star of this movie. I haven't seen anything like this, and I don't feel as though it's being spoken about as much as it should be getting spoken about. I can understand that it's not going to be a film for everybody's taste, but the runtime makes it digestible. The environment is extremely eerie, and it has a very human story at its core. The want for a better life and wanting to give it a shot so at least you can say that you've tried. And also murder, psychosis, and terrifying moments. But that's the beauty in it. It's hopes and dreams colliding with nightmares, and it paints the perfect story of Pearl and how she came to be the individual that we saw in the movie X, still holding onto those dreams that she had in 1918 many years later in the 1970s. It allows you to look at X through a different lens, and it was an extremely creative way for Ty West to connect the films, a way like no other, a prequel that we didn't even know we needed. I'm just really looking forward to seeing how MaXXXine is going to tie into all of this too. Pearl, I will remember how I felt when I watched this movie, don't you worry. So, there you have it, why Pearl is beautiful and terrifying at the same time. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this movie? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.